talingim oh you narawrawar kalbalula lembalti karen
malungit tutaw Chinese dirigal malung makakaya dalungit tutaw morar ar adro ko kung sa ilabang gid al tutaw tell gid al tutaw special episode el kuradi mo catch up el gid la sel ملالاست two shows ako yung naringi sal الشو الضروري الانترفيو ترف على JRAs التريجل junior regional advisors اللوير لبن كلا PICRC الالتايم طوال summer interns الملاو ايسرا تلتلا الامرولي المطمور السلا Palawan National Marine Sanctuary لبن تري ادرا نوا الغرسل ذال المقدرين لسنگ Oceanos Explorer mang tamne yaw ay sige ko excitement 30 ma ikel ko ramle everong ulir ma solid momrul Michael Girin momrul al sertel el PNMS while aboard the ship ma el tutawe givim le brutal special solo ay sige ko karam na sa aman ko mok ma ko di i-share kel experiences el ramamra al sala avial ma real gimurul labantira ar adra nowa madri kal gelurul gimurul kinala EVNA الواجي كيف mention sa last show ma el altutaw yung diso kalimutan mo introduce talaga el guest labang gid el altutaw ma omtera center gid ang aling chief researcher Evelyn Otto el nasur labang trigal 5 at JRA San Mortial expedition ma ngakita atu ang aling Alik Ulechong Subes Alik Ulechong Director partner talomral junior regional advisor kasi ang aling Whittney Elmer Director junior regional advisor McQuinnley Mesengei ang director so will give a special shout out talmorengel taramamra Shan Angelo Malushlu Mirai Rakasu siling start school muluret almaral mang dim nilat medrata eli swebal mulam rigel and of course nga ka singe adire kam repertoire expedition so mlangi gigi del medal 5 weeks el tedila ka lawyer palu ngangi gigi del webinars malu gigi del calls ma presentation el bledo mes do suba pekpading lawyer ma research al sala agagid ito mo la sa deep sea environments pero magigid luryo ang awal mal aldap ma awala ba mo rasharki then maybe we can just go around and talk about ako na experience rigid ma aigel el koramle rela da durura al sala avial tel 3 weeks il give ang wal. So maybe as it start MQ.
Malungit 2000 malungil gera nga kaman yung experience na this not my first rodeo actually so kind of used to it but talking about the work we did EDNA I was happy that we were able to collect samples and then not just surface samples like we usually do but also like deep samples and overall had a really good experience thanks to the crew on the ship. They're really really friendly and they were able to like accompany us and like just be really good to us.
It's like cute.
Yeah, so going off what MQ said, the eDNA work was really fun. We collected several different sites. We also used a bigger instrument to get deeper water. So that was really exciting, especially water that we probably won't have access to because you need a big ship for that and this instrument. But we also worked on a bit of mapping. It was really cool. We found some really cool seamounts out there. Really big cements as well. So super excited to just take a look at that data a bit more.
Hello everybody. It was really a unique experience and opportunity to go and participate and assist with some of this research that is very new to us in particular, but it's been ongoing, and it's important to kind of be able to continue that and to be able to get new sample sites, get new information and new data about the parts of the PNMS that's hard for us to read. So.
Manuel Tutao more Komurokui. So I was able to join the JRAs on the Okeanos Explorer, and my role was initially was supposed to be working very closely with them, but the crew was amazing, and they took the JRAs under their wings. So I had a really unique opportunity to be able to just supervise and witness their growth, in addition to the work that we did, continuing our environmental DNA collections. What these guys said was we were able to collect deep samples, which is something that we don't really have the capability of doing. Deep samples meaning going down to 4,000 meters in depth. And then also doing mapping, so mapping Pelosi floors that have never been seen before, and being able to first witness what they look like, whether or not they're shallow in deep sea perspective or deep 4,000 meters high type seamount. So it was a really great experience to witness all of that.
Ma'am sila nga igalaw. So, actually, di mo ay sa second belt nga MQ maali ko Whitney. Kuktung nga keng it's gonna be my second time in nga radial, but this is probably the longest one. Kadam na nga wal 21 days. So katagilir tira eli aktal malor tira kal gimda kalor kasi ako na din ako feel nga kalor tawat tok makarang ako na feel it tal dial ko na din ako move agi ko din ka adjust but it was definitely a good experience to have lang katangi ka lang nga actual research vessel that's designed for research mangaling ya literally rokul I think ang ngaling rokul sa kung sa spell ruler research igel ko kailan sa gidal yalan rule so working in an actual wet lab like on a ship was so interesting. It was really fun. Medical life on the ship was really interesting. Ilang ko katinga dalawang tira like other NOAA government tramigel. So mal ko na altero dalaro kulto ko telero protocol ma schedule ma meeting ma ngaling ako na settle schedule ya kulto ko do rule. And they were very accommodating and they prioritize our relative. I was really impressed by their willingness accommodate terigi Michael ko relala center terigi la tuwasa ka nga belaw Michael priority kami wa omrul kot and then kami omes ay kila sang raskel si ilmarul al salavial Michael lulo ko ya Whitney Maalik man nga Tellei del musubay ka luryo laro lavial madam la omes ay kalbek pa nga ladongu lalaban mo luy Robert taklalada pa matelet-tele lalong ito kamsil المريض talaga give the information those pe and it's so interesting way give the lugar ikala dam nam tika ba SLC mount el kukmaklora baby daroy sa nga bebu labalu ikigid el toko yamno sa el muy MS madire kal mino masakla bakala labal wadra palingilang wal like bring at the level mesang sa elasils ma ang sa elaboy a lot of sunset pictures were taken and I know like sa sige time na dangang wala hindi na tutawing sang lo ang sils ekadang usal alert ra tsunami yeah so that was definitely one of the highlights that trip lagi sa lagi mga waling naringi cyclone earthquake ra Russia mang naringi tsunami across the Pacific tsunami warning tsunami watch. So a lot of calls and messages were asked kukmara adrablima marsalimang kumikamday job, but I think we were probably the most safest so we were okay. But I think that's one of the best things that happened. I was like, wow, kada nabalingin ang when that earthquake happened, and I think that's one of like the biggest earthquake that happened in April. So kada ni kay kita highlight da ako experience kay kita dial ma aerial rule. So nga asa evel vitaliki pen mamsa da kay ko tele la cifler mapping ma kay rule. So sa ako talmong imno sa evel la EVNA for the first like 1.5 weeks. And then after saying they didn't like 1.5 weeks and they were taman le plan it into detail mang pekalsil sa nga gimoru loloban territorial adara anowa ma takadil ata nawa ngartelan di nga karusel HNC dakalorior lakan tractor til mru lorior loban tri asset tal mentirikal da tangatan nga tala del suba gigit to ra mapping matokera computer alwa aligal sola to ra item na sil nga temel mo da durtegal adara adar nga taldal el kuktiyo real troubleshoot embro la to ra network ma ay and then of course nga telemel mo da adara mapping. So ngara igal ko ra mulum das will so before the Boradial and like now after thinking about it omam das so kadem nas edel fulfill ay igal kumulum das will rung uliw like individually especially kuk to ra mapping ma omsubela to ra research like omam das nas ilot taw tegigital ko ram rung uliw, and if not like ngara ko ra omam das like it could be implemented in the near future or may mlungil experience ra.
For me, again, being from with the IT background, and then also with the mechanic background, it was just really amazing to see the level of technology that goes into doing this kind of research. And then the other thing that was also very interesting was the fact that they upgraded their network and we were able to stay connected with people, not just on land and back here in Palau, but with around the world. And that was one of the I think the goals of the Okeanos Explorer as a research vessel, but also as a way of sharing that information. So a lot of the like I was looking at it, I'm like, man, this is really advanced and also very expensive. But then I'm always thinking of like, how can we, if not exactly copy them, but what things that we can bring back to Palau to increase our capacity for doing, this kind of research, or at least increase our ability to analyze the data that they get from it. So that's what I was like. I was really impressed. It was like it's a ship, but it's almost like a spaceship. With all the control room was just monitors everywhere and keyboards, and I was like, man, they have their own like server. So the computers that they have in there are like what you would find in like a data center, and so it was really, really impressive.
Ma'am sulang alik. So again, lasa da alik so alsat talda lang ngi talda mo kadang sa control room. Ega laak me la 10 and 15 el madala masil ya computer. Nga ega di connected and morawan el cross central system. Man tolyo rabe kalsis el lomes ay gal al lurior lorul el real time monitoring sel to iya pertak lutum ngam la setyang tela del el ngara se edelo mes ngari nga bek padengin la shasing lol oltelo say tiagi da tele la pertak ngari nga ko telegi baram silo oltelo say tiagi da ko la tele la apertak lung ko alum amdam them ngok lung madare. So it was really interesting. So igal si floor mapping agi ngali nga assignment tramal musada si floor mapping yak momal ba tebe ka igal fish finder earth. So I tell dia la walos pa igagit el vongul mokma dalwa tele la wala la fish finder and dit tamlara mul el sebel to iya mol los pa igagit el vongu. It was really interesting to see that happen.
For me, also, I think going in, I knew we were going to do eDNA, I knew we were going to do mapping. So it's kind of not a surprise that we did all that. What was really surprising to me about the trip was more the cultural exchange, being able to do our Palawan words. I think my favorite part will always be we have a group chat and we texted one of our NOAA mentors. We just said thank you in Palawan. We said sulang, and then he responded with the whole sentence in Palawan, and we were really just amazed. So yeah, there was that cultural exchange with them. Not only were we learning from them, but they were learning from us, and they had so much excitement for Palau because of it. So yeah, I think that was very special and something that I wasn't expecting, but was very surprised.
Ayan no rule ko orak mas adel la maldim tu maldim no kotta kaseng makarang sab egol suba kero kuls egol super say del tam el waiden el even dong na moptol kuru nginding as you do things repetitively you refine your skills. So that's another thing, and one more thing is just to contribute to the overall conservation goals for the republic. As we know, there's a thing called CBET 2030, which is a movement to map 25 or map the entire world seafloor. So that's something I'm really happy to be part of.
So ako tungulangak sila ko talaga kasi ngalaun makamla apply ako sa adiula. You know, te alra omso makamla apply, but then after the whole trip, and then I was like, wow, I really learned a lot. Look out of my comfort zone. So alakok to ko na GIS, ay gildong dos pe almrula map, o mas ay gagil tele la data. Awal akla dab. Ang nga experience nga kalkuk timlay kalkor introductory course. So sila da bangil baski the actual files rabalwath layers sa edalos pa elmula 3D. Man sa edalo misal akrel tel C mount matial pertakle la the beth. Really gave me another perspective. Lesel nga la school ya so bigay del data most in that time kada di ospe a data ra ayel maklol buluwal nga ring ya data repository ringi. So to be able to have that experience in working with actual data, Rabalwad really, I guess, sige there was a sense of ownership. Like akmal ko ramlong nilarong ko say wow, like sabi Edinburgh like Rabalwad. Madira kal tang at yal luryo la avya kal katangel. Dial okeanos un tatangel tal dial el mebela ding ngalinga bebila dial lulya ku elmel mamrula o sisuluryor ding telgibil naringi akuk bebila moktertir ding mokmedalo sisung matyang so sel I'm sure I remember mlangi sal narilos last year sa dire kalb na ngalinga mapping no rule but it was not as much as we did this time. So I think that was one of the takeaways sila say klolo rather lang elasal luk na dilo sa kuktim na nga gel pasol map le tukti o mesa si mount mata kuktim na gel pasol nga si mount te map e oteng la ROV ay gel camera sa malasya singrangi gel malapit rangi gel ma corals may gel pekpadengel la takatodengel armen nga Robert takwele gel tumol aldap. And the telco tablaring el diala. I was kind of sad and dim like ROV el dorul ROV types el dorul, but I was like maybe avak more excited you know sa dalawang sa armat mal aldaw, but the mapping came in like low no sa pay attention interested engaged throughout the whole trip, so it was really interesting and to be working with these experts. Malmadingay about local information, and we had that opportunity to work with them was probably one of the best things that happened during this trip. So igigita ko natin le swakal mention. So tagit okay ano sana sa el map stitch up every legal dimla kal map analysis. And this is only the first expedition, and there's 2 others more. So we're going to see a lot of mapping produced that I get the tool other expedition. So since we were kadokora misa that I get the mapping, and then in last edel mo highlight the ruele that I talk EDNA. الدرول. We've had a number of shows sa EVNA. So just to recap, the reminder at so EVNA sel اللمسوب الضروري الملاي collect adab may o mi ay galpek padangin la DNA malubang top tabi la armel sa adal matigal al sa lagay el water samples el waigel ablak aludang abla pulpotokal man siya na asab ng may kastaringi ay gagid el collection ay gagid di dongis para bebulata surface collection ya chief le mention la say el al expedition yung nga te el collect samples rat mol al dab. So, as ethel ramos mo dia talibra kasi mukdamil karang yung mas ba ethel el galek ta samples ra at mall that was as deep as 4,000 meters. So, maybe JRAs can kind of explain like what we did, what tools we used.
So the biggest tool that we used was the CTD, which stands for
Conductivity, temperature.
nice. And it's this big old instrument and it has multiple Niskin bottles on, so we can collect multiple samples at once, which is really important because when we're doing this work, you want to do replicates to prove that your data is kind of more accurate. And so we were collecting several samples at different depths, going down to about 4,000 meters. Was 4,000 meters the deepest? Yeah, so 4,000 meters was the deepest that we collected, but we also collected at about 10 meters and then also at the surface level. And then we bring that into the wet lab and then we filter the water. And with the filter, what's left behind is the environmental DNA of whatever species is in the water. And so we take that, we save that, we send it over to our partners who kind of go through gene sequencing and help us figure out what species is in the water, which is really exciting because especially in the deep ocean, especially here in Palau in the Northwest Pacific, we have a lot of new species that are maybe not new to this location, but are for the first time being recorded here. And so EDNA is super special because we get to really say like, yes, these animals are in our oceans. And yeah, so CTD was the biggest instrument that was kind of fun to use and everyone's first time using it. Yeah. So yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, may kikidalo ko Whitney. Tagil si TV, tiyak raklol ay bibiyabal awak lungel tagil tebale. Ngaringi 24. Ngaringi 24 Niskin bottles. Malubi kita lolum el blal el program el moramasil mang si adalo duro klit yal klal wal morabert taklel adab edi nga radial emetira botang en close sa olumela magimla ogertek mo sa tang makaramulur ngitang ngara wifi ang ngaling transmitter sa el lotokura adidel tal el klal wal morabert taklel ding tamlara mula seng al makamangal seng al lobang del taklel wal morabert taklel adab man sa edel diomet ringi malaya adab etial lagi del lumgoda sa conductivity ma temperature ma adept adongul lobangel taklal makadamadangel kung sa etial masilang mal nga dal el wangara kalkaltel wangara water quality tel tap so tel EVNA al ablal blorang singer adan moptokal times lang it's an ongoing work sa alko tolo mo la rele lang singul mo ay ngarang
So we started the eDNA project in collaboration with Stanford University, and we started that in 2021, and it was a 3-year project. And so the project ended in 2023, end of 2023, it ended. And so the last 2 years, we've actually been super fortunate and blessed with all of the ships that have been coming to Palau for us to be able to continue doing the collection as we apply for further funding assistance to continue the program. One of the amazing things about our eDNA project that we have here in Palau is that it is the first of its kind to have a time series, which means that for the past, now this is the 5th year, we have water samples collected at consistent sites around Palau. And so we can, as we analyze the data, we can see what kind of animals and creatures are consistently being seen in our waters, or if there's fluctuation between the time of the year that we see them. Maybe we see them on the west side during half of the year, and then they move more towards the east side. So that's a really great opportunity. Much like these guys said that NOAA, as we were planning this, they had a big directive to do seafloor mapping. So we were really trying to get our sites into the route that we were going to go. But when we got on the ship, they came up to us and they were like, your sites first, Palau's priority. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit all of your sites before we begin the mapping. And that was super fortunate for us. And we were able to put down the CTD at some of the sites. One thing to highlight about the CTD is that to get down into depth, it takes a while. So the site that we did for the 4,000 meter depth, I think it took us 5 hours total. 2 to 2.5 hours for this sets of bottles to go all the way down to the bottom, and then 2.5 hours to come back up. And so for them to be able to put a pause and hold the ship at that location for that amount of time, taking away time from seafloor mapping to give us the opportunity to collect these really important samples, it was a really good opportunity.
So lang Chief. Dire kal tagi del te alla lo sab edel ngaringa tablol BSL site include el 10 long term monitoring sites. Mel agigid el 10 long term monitoring sites sa lagot tulong utalior ang ngaringa 5 ngara akayuk lima 5 ngara hospital. Igagid el tul BS lo sab edel malayra al sala rabita el tablo regel Simmons and nos edel matigra south. So al selti trip nos edel nos edel lortang letagi del CTV for like 6 times. Yeah, for ay gay ammer al selagi the long term monitoring sites mang dirigan mo maski da BSL siya sing Robert takkelay the long term monitoring sites lang number nga klam deng gidra tal surface. So it's going to be really exciting to see what's in Robert Takwela ay gagid el basho the monitor. And I think that's going to be really interesting. Mas in that time sel dosa da gagid el urior at the blogger was say mga tang di bebula da be da galektra pertaklel mo kom dim onna segel armel mararabe tel bebula da. So gagid el te ala malungin la maskida at the level mo message singra al selat mol al tab like the different depths. So agigid ako to ko EVNA el los edel gut mokra al seltal trip and kadnos edel process ak medel angara 300 12 samples. So salgim do samples ang filter one el filter. So igagida mas edel gut mokra al selta gid el first layer del trip and then sel onge del legay achieve ma adastan for that diril nga te a little mutol mo kalekta mutol bebila sample sa igel bebila set el rukno dagal sa edel el remura al sel kal PNMS ma al sel domestic fishing zone. Laga the move before about the simra the this was the highlight gagid el rukto ko na mapping nas edel accomplish. So Adal amo ogar wasing amla wangara klungel basyo amlo sa edel mapperingin. So, amla wangara klungel basyo sa edel mapperingin.
I think it was about 39,300 around there square kilometers of seafloor that was mapped, which is a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a
Yeah,
lot.
so sila after yung kora post cruise meeting and kora sa tele la rio de mraklo area bla de mapperingin. Etiasel the mapping te kadidora el one time yung momela ka rio. Kadamral mo sang tokora luusi a square and then kadamral mo ekuk maral may emeral mo so kadokora six sa al square $1 al aklel tial tapo so tada ka biro to rio lang kadul mesra really el mga da adura our captain ter kalo makalat dala sa game tour makadukuk tour na ekuk mutol pa kal maral may lompa api ay kalpek padang la shasing maringa arungul map. And I think they mentioned the lasem no sa edel map para waklungel. They said 113 times the landmass of Palau. So nga igal aldalela bulur belaw igal island the rokuy. Emno sa edel map para waklungel 113 el bulur belaw. Hindi masaw dara at autumn. So ako mo kadota ka lang ayang alal mo sa southwest del di mo imol balu ang 113 na regal balu amno sa Evel map. Waklungel 113 el bulur belaw. En yabi rin kamadre alaklo el basyo. Maski daklo siya singer tel PNMS. Basit karensel belaw most kloring yata po. Edit telegi ba niya balu ulmong ko mal o si iyarang utsa to dengan lasing like na moringia fongu mate alal si adalos pel mom tanga litel betakala abalwaf so ko ay kikita ko na ay kam highlight tra si floor mapping e dire gal tel program am lalinga te alam ngalinga project tel gimorul maktimang ko algo yung master gal kim da kalorem tadi mo briefly smada gal algo project tel loss of il mul el gora wal deliverable social trip and then it's other close rush
Ma project na nga ka kulus pa ikel data bel kalek trana relus ra 2024. Ikel data bel kalek tagil shasing lubong ikel ID ra ikel rogun ngigel ma invert sa bel west lubong ikel water qualities wa temperature ma salinity ma oxygen. Ma project na kamal din focus mong makaray kagil water qualities specifically temperature salinity ma oxygen makaray kagil affect ra hindi sila armra particular lava.
As for me, my project was really focused on 2 seamounts that were found by Nautilus last year. And I chose these seamounts because the ROV track was relatively the same height. But we found that one of the seamounts compared to the other had almost twice as many species that were found. So we were really just curious as to why that is, looking at temperature as a possible culprit, but also possibility of upwelling, which we can't be 100% sure. Because like I said earlier, data in the Northwest, especially here in Palau, around Palau's waters, there's not too much data quite yet. So it's really exciting to kind of be the first people to look at the data for this area.
And my project focused on one species in particular, or one type of animal called a crinoid. They're also known as sea lilies or feather stars. And for the longest time, they knew about these animals because of fossil records, so they didn't realize that they still exist. And these particular types of crinoids are found deep, way deep in the ocean. So doing this kind of work to study them, we were fortunate to have the Nautilus data to work with. And my project was focusing on seeing where these animals live, if they prefer different types of depths to like how deep or how shallow, and then also some of the other environmental qualities like the oxygen and salinity and temperature, and see if that affected how they're distributed.
Thank you, Alik. Project nga ka, so also lagay kita data, and then I'm letting ya si amount del bati kung mletchus ringal kota nga north mga nasa del basically ko lang sa sengaring ya kakaraw sa ringin, even though di ka nga isa lang sa lang ang ya kakaraw sa lagay kita al backpacking environment. So yeah, igigit el annotations en narilo sa diligal mas ikalospe, diligal man nga taam laban ta adra dal lo nga sa member del project. And I think ang ngaring ya caller nga landline so kada di mo wawan kita number 845. And ngaring nga karmi yung mas ilokola center.
Oy malungit tutale ko na web radio. Wait tutasinge kaunti al lo magkemro boy. Para internet dili kan man masuba sina kigen gup meritra al sila agaw chat Pacific namer chat Pacific ar ada sina bagumes ra internet. Trisut sa sel tialgaw mo matigil wasig sel Northern Mariana Trench gotel mura al chat Pacific siya gotel pato ka minerals gigel dos perel al time. Aigel mo tagadali na cellphone, mamo o aigel device ra ang madingan al chat Pacific. Omisinder niya am nagren el mo seguido ko mol Northern Mariana Trench. Isen gumes el adrasina ahead adra madigel etnaruya bielra al sila bertak el al si set vacuum al chat bertak namer velaw. El vacuum na may yegir rogun minerals, el al sil sengra laboratory ra al sina. Tamal ahir al adrasina. Posisi time ngarinya imora ba awer ni el taras el incident tra setel bertak tos toase long snake na al setel bertak. Tial electrical wire blood mud sokti kel burul admel mud tigila Pacific. Setara domis ringil wasing in the future ada sinam na media karet na media melugus jadi el gaibol tara albang ringil wasing sel lemetuk en guk mo ngarnya reflect track pengargi akyo ay sa gamudeng asinam na mura Malaysia detected kaya sira Pacific memut kaya sel belaw tamnam malola ra setel bertak mangara sel laboratory ra beriket. Akpagi state segida koman musulang omskira kom subra aksara bertak le omskira ab esrudas mukada kadmo mzenge ngar aksitel berwap mengguk mo sub edro ngitra bigel wasi mongkar ra kel emina bertak de tira umra security ge de sinam namel mangnuyule de bong elang number 1 ra amnam marobul mineral septial burul amasinal el am wala berenersis buk ngar babra bigel marosia konsulang may igam next program to me.
Ako mamsulang caller, and I think caller amal ni highlight sa gid el te ala rio el naniya te ele de lo bant adram rigel ma dili gal gukte ele del mam dangali abertak la balwaf msel tarak labse el baringa way gid el dueng sabe el confident mo du el madangaliya kalen sala balwaf may gan ngar alsel. So I think kay gagid el rio el bagat mokla emrar el altam may gan kuk ngalingin ngar mtad el mral may mo maskit sa gid el tean makadamo madangaliya tele la bertakla la balwad ma balwad mang sel wala talor egal maklol balu el blol gor ara perikidra agid el toy en ngaringi aklam dengerikid ma sel sense of ownership ergidra balwad ma qad ko alta do sum de kurung wuladan el gira la agid el toy ra amalaya wa resources ma ay agid el bek pading el aklal wal se el matigra bertakla la blul af ngaring ako la somi wala ka mental morangel caller at ang kala di yung nilarang mi.
Nangaso di mo comment tringel caller sa uli udler ama lungil ice maldonit malsumong aningaling mo bang lubong wasetta kumil kumilwi wari regel lubo kumilom ningil mutta or Tellei sa kanyang lure kaya dim forward rin mo na PICRC mo sa mo ko mo yulgiren mo kipa mo tungi. So yeah.
So lang MQ. And before the color the kami sa legal project tarigid, before the closing this was the law ay sila sa ngalingi agil tablo el togol doru el dilegal el qor on the sort dilegal nga school so ngalingi assignment tarigid el dilegal after tel project besides legal presentation el ngalingi poster el doru el target ra ng school, elementary high school, el masata to kora si floor mapping, madiri kalok experience sa gid radial, agil uriol mo sa ether mo sa radial, mga nataletele la adorior sa radial, laban tirar patingirar at. So agil double project el kamamel fiber chair sa at makal marul gidela agil deliverables al giramel el submit el alweek. So tel program last el week el alweek magi mo nga presentation na kamara Wednesday el present el final report na kamam madirigal experience na kamam radial el kuko ay sa adra center let alak alwi de chibeng akatingel el arrangement el ititira intern loban tira staff center nga to ko research al salang ngawal el mooroy. So I think it's going to be a good opportunity for us to share with the center was el bulungamut opportunity na featuring ang nga te elira abibira internals il apply madidigal mo sa edel malaya teal man sa edel kuryo laban ter bibira atal brulega gidel teal ra omsub maurior. So ang kana din kay gite ako na din na so that discussed do you think I missed anything el alto tao? Or nga ko na so mil malo ka raw el close.
No, by Sulang Singe, I just wanted to highlight the importance of this work. What Singe had mentioned is PICRC has done internships in the past and summer programs for college students and young professionals, but this is the first time that we've been able to offer something that brings them into the deep sea work and into the PNMS. So it's been a really great opportunity and to show them all of the different types of things that can happen, that can be done. One of the great opportunities here is that of the four sitting in front of you, and even Sean, who's not here with us today, but they all have different backgrounds and different interests. And one of the things that was really highlighted on this trip was the importance or the fact that you don't have to be a scientist to go into conservation work and contribute to the effort. Being on the ship, they really took everybody in. Took the JRAs in and showed them the entire work. So from the IT people who were working in the control room, working on the new network that was coming up and troubleshooting everything, to the engineers who were the ones that are responsible of dropping the CTDs down in the water, and then the mechanics on the ships who are responsible of making it work as going up to the NOAA Corps crew who had to drive and work closely with the rest of the crew. And so I think it just really highlights that there's a lot of different paths that you can take that leads you to conservation and to help contribute to the work. So this has been a really great opportunity to collaborate at the center to work with these young professionals who did an outstanding job and had amazing outcomes for their deliverables, but also to be able to collaborate with the U.S. and the NOAA team, because what these guys, what they told us while we were living in the ship is, we may have been together for 3 weeks, but now you have forever friends in us, and we have important networking. And so regardless of where we go in the future and what we plan to do, if we get into, technical IT work or program software stuff, we can reach out to them and they'll be always eager to assist us. And that just goes to show how the collaboration is really important with Palau and with PICRC, because as we know so much about our coral reefs, we don't know that much about our deep sea, and it takes a lot to get out there. And we can't do it without the collaboration and the assistance from others. So this has been an amazing opportunity. It's the first of 3 legs here in Palau for Okeanos, like Singe said. So we just finished the first one. They leave next week, and then we have a team with some people from Palau, and then we have a team meeting them in Guam to map back down to Palau. So just after the first 3 weeks, 113 times the Palau landmass. You can imagine just how much is going to come out after 3 weeks worth of mapping and the effort. So it was a really great opportunity, and I really want to just highlight the amount of work that went in, these guys' effort and participation, as well as the collaboration with the U.S. and the NOAA team.
Thank you, Igalaw. So before we close the show, just a quick shout out to Palau International Curve Center for accommodating us last summer and for giving us the opportunity to work together. Kita opportunity lang. Ika once in a lifetime opportunity. Never in my life I thought akmurang wala 3 weeks. And also akmlamur sila PNMS. Together na dito sa PNMS, hindi mo nakatalbok to Alcel, and now I've been there. So shout out to PICRC for making this opportunity possible. El Mararangal Carbelao, El Malviangal Carbelao. Dire kal shout out al more tiligal PICRC researchers who had us for the past like 5 weeks. But also a big shout out to our lead mentor, Miss Mereng Andres, el Mansal, el organize, el Robantira Adra Nawai, Obantira Adra Center, Maskechular Adel, Rokuy Malmsola Mereng for also keeping up with us. Like days el Gimarang Wal. Ma trigger Rokul researchers, ma research assistant, ma Adra Center Rokuy, el mal welcoming, make sure internship experience ka mama aungil and all the things that we needed were done. Provided for. So, Malmsola Center on behalf of the JRA. So, madirigal kami adra blue mal oyang ramamra social media ko marmsulang rokuy ma sel next el shora Brussels ice akok mo abang kila asap. So, thank you all. Happy Tuesday. I know it's not payday week, but happy Tuesday. And if you're driving, drive safe. Makukutara time. Ko marmsulang.
Oh, you. Naraura Hotel Balula. Limbalti. Garin. El Malat Karang Aramaka. Arangalage. Balwa. Magabe.